Today I'm going to show you an action thriller movie, Edge of Darkness 2010. Be ready for spoilers ahead. The movie opens up by moonlight, three bodies float to the surface of the western Massachusetts stretch of the Connecticut River. At South Station in Boston, police homicide detective Tom Craven picks up his daughter, Emma, coming home to visit him. She's 24 years old and has been his only family member since his wife left him. He buys some food from a shop and returns to find Emma waiting for him. Suddenly, Emma vomits while getting into the car. Concerned, Tom asks if she is okay, to which Emma assures him that she is fine, and they head home. As Craven prepares dinner, Emma's nose starts to bleed. She vomits again and becomes frantic, saying that she needs to see a doctor urgently. It is clear that she might have ingested poison and insists on reaching the hospital as soon as possible. Emma tells her father that she has to tell him something. As they hastily leave for the hospital on their home's porch, a masked gunman shouts the name Craven and then fires a simultaneous shotgun, which blasts Emma. Craven attends to his daughter as the culprits escape, however, she instantly dies in his arms. As a single father who has no one left, Craven finds himself completely alone. Holding his daughter's lifeless body close, he breaks down in tears. That same evening, a team of police detectives headed by Bill visited the Cravens' home. They suspect that someone harboring ill intentions toward Tom came for his life but mistakenly shot his daughter. Feeling the emptiness of Emma Craven's absence, he enters her room and rummages through her belongings, longing for her presence. During this, Craven finds Emma's phone. Suddenly, the phone starts ringing and when he answers, he only finds silence on the other end. The following morning, Craven heads to the police headquarters, returning to duty to help find out who wanted to kill him. Despite his senior officer suggesting he take leave, Craven insists on conducting the investigation personally. Determined to seek answers, Craven visits the doctor who performed Emma's postmortem. After identifying the body, he takes a sample of Emma's hair as a memento. Following this, Craven goes to a beach and proceeds to scatter Emma's ashes there. Upon his return home, Craven searches Emma's bag and discovers her company ID. While everyone assumes Craven was the gunman's target, when he finds Emma had a pistol in her nightstand, he starts to suspect that possibly Emma was the intended target. At the police station, Craven checks the gun's ownership and finds that it belongs to her boyfriend named David. Tom tracks down Emma's boyfriend, then promptly breaks into the man's apartment and gets into a fight with him before starting to speak. David lives in constant fear of Northmore, the company where Emma also worked. He shares with him his daughter's discovery that Northmore, a research and development facility under contract to the US government, was covertly producing nuclear weapons using foreign materials and specifications. The weapons were intended to be traced to foreign nations if they were used as dirty bombs. Craven meets with Northmore executive Jack Bennett, a senior corporate executive, and tries to learn more about what Emma did for the company, but he's rebuffed that her work even as an intern was classified and can't be shared. Later, Craven accidentally discovers that Emma's hair sample is radioactive. It is later shown that following the failed break-in at Northmore by the activists seen dead at the opening, Emma was poisoned with thallium through a bottle of organic milk. Burning her clothing in his backyard, Craven encounters Darius Jedburgh, a British consultant tasked with preventing the disclosure of the information Emma had and tying up any loose ends, including her father. Jedburgh reveals to Craven that his daughter was a terrorist, leaving him in shock. After this, Jedburgh shows him some photos of three deceased individuals, whose bodies we saw at the start of the movie. Jedburgh claims that all of them tried to infiltrate Northmore to gather information about their illicit activities. He asserts that their deaths occurred during their escape attempt, suggesting a malfunction within Northmore. Jedburgh further tells Thomas that Emma's computer was missing from her apartment. However, Craven says that he cannot believe that his daughter was involved in illicit activities with the Northmore. The next morning, Craven decides to dial the numbers found in Emma's phone, possibly seeking further clues. He finds Melissa Conway's number there and calls her. Then, he asks her to meet him, as she is a friend and co-worker of Emma. At first, she is not willing to meet him, but then when she hears about the tragic news of her friend's death, she agrees. Craven meets with Melissa the following afternoon, who informs him that Jack Bennett, the owner of Northmore, became suspicious of Emma. He then ordered the murder of her, as well as the activists Emma was working with, to steal evidence of the illegal nuclear weapons. After this, Melissa reveals that she has a 3-year-old child, and sharing more information could jeopardize her life. As she starts to leave, Melissa hands an envelope to Craven. Unfortunately, a high-speed car collides with Melissa in what appears to be a deliberate accident orchestrated by Jack Bennett. Craven recognizes the car from its presence near Northmore, indicating that it was part of Jack's scheme. The car turns and is about to run over him, but he shoots the driver with his handgun, causing the car to crash and fall into a river. Following this incident, Craven takes Melissa to the hospital, where she suffers the loss of one leg due to the accident. Craven gets into his car and opens the envelope that Melissa had given him. Inside the envelope, he finds a drive, and after playing the CD, he discovers a video of his daughter. In that video note, Emma has talked about Northmore, and her death is connected to her attempt to blow the whistle on a deadly government nuclear weapon conspiracy. Craven confronts the Northmore lawyer and threatens to open up a case against him. Later, he meets Massachusetts U.S. Senator Jim Pine, contacted earlier by Emma, revealing that Craven knows almost everything that happened. After examining his fridge with a Geiger counter, Craven discovers that his milk has been contaminated, most likely with the poison used on his daughter. His fellow detective and longtime friend, Bill, comes to Craven's home while the Northmore agents break into the house. Craven realizes that Bill set him up. The agents render Craven unconscious with a taser and kidnap him. They put a passed-out Craven in an ambulance and took him away to Northmore. He wakes up handcuffed to a gurney in the Northmore facility. It seems like they have imprisoned him in a room. Craven beats up the crap of the doctor badly and manages to escape. He arrives back at his home, but his health starts deteriorating rapidly, and he keeps vomiting repeatedly. He realizes that these are the symptoms of a sickness caused by radiation poisoning. He was possibly poisoned by the Northmore agents before he was kidnapped. Craven realizes that he has very little time, so he takes his gun and sets out to kill Jack Bennett. As Craven arrives at Bennett's, he kills the Northmore agents outside the compound before entering the house. Craven orders one at gunpoint to scream the name Craven, identifying him as Emma's killer, and brutally murders him without a second thought. Bennett, consumed by desperation, fires a shot at Craven, but in a twisted twist of fate, Craven retaliates, wounding Bennett before forcing a vile concoction of radioactive milk down his throat. Gagging and panicking, Bennett frantically rushes to his kitchen cabinet, desperately searching for pills that might counteract the insidious effects of the radiation. However, with grim determination, Craven drags himself into the kitchen and, in a final act of revenge, he fatally shoots Bennett. As the scene shifts, we find Craven, now grappling with his own gunshot wounds and the devastating grip of radioactive poisoning in a sterile hospital bed. Meanwhile, Darius Jedburgh, battling an unrelated terminal illness, holds a clandestine meeting with the senator and two calculating political advisors who had tasked him with managing Craven's precarious situation. The stakes are high. They aim to spin the narrative surrounding the Northmore incident in a way that serves their interests. The senator, his voice heavy with authority, underscores the urgency of crafting a narrative that will sway public perception. He insists on painting Emma as a terrorist who poisoned her own father, thereby deflecting scrutiny away from the true chaos that has unfolded. The tension in the room escalates as they plot their next move, eager to manipulate the tragic events for political gain. Jedburgh, with a glint of dangerous enthusiasm in his eyes, suggested that orchestrating an assassination attempt on the senator might serve as the ultimate distraction, a cunning ploy to divert the public's attention away from the shocking demise of Jack Bennett. The group finds this suggestion appealing and willingly supports the narrative, only to have their fleeting satisfaction shattered as Jedburgh's demeanor takes a dark turn. With a calculated steely glare, he informed the senator and advisors that they had aligned themselves with the wrong side of the equation. Without warning, Jedburgh pulls out a gun and shoots both advisors and the senator dead. When a young police officer nervously enters the senator's meeting room, Jedburgh points his gun at him before asking if he has a family and kids. When the officer says yes, Jedburgh lowers his gun to face an honorable death. As Craven lies dying in the hospital, a young reporter from the local TV station who had spoken to Craven a few nights earlier at his home, opens a letter from him that includes DVDs recorded by Emma. The letter reveals a conspiracy, with Craven's good luck wishes ensuring Northmore's end. As Craven dies, Emma comforts him in spirit. We see the father and daughter walking out of the hospital together, down the corridor, toward a bright white light. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.